The views expressed here are solely those of the host and do not represent the positions of any sponsors, affiliates, or institutions. I Don't Subscribe does not serve as a medium for salvation, leadership, or advocacy on behalf of others. An individual's internal compass is their most reliable guide. These conversations serve as waypoints along one's journey. For this reason, I encourage listeners to critically examine all narratives presented, including those on this show. An individual journey is uniquely theirs, and it should be navigated with confidence and intuition. Retain what resonates, release what does not. Let's converse. What's good with you? How you feeling? Welcome to episode 2, series 1 of the I Don't Subscribe with Ibrahim Daffae. This is a lane where the two ACEs, adverse childhood experience as well as adverse community environment, meets conversations that meet life lessons, that meet story time in order to transform an invisible burden. Today's topic, we are going to focus on the neural weaponry. I think it will be an interesting show. I look forward to discussing this in greater detail. Before we proceed, let me remind you that this show is empowered and made possible by House of Lone Wolf, pioneers in converting adversity into measurable executive performance. While traditional consultants focus on managing trauma, House of Lone Wolf engineers frameworks that transform survival instinct into competitive advantages. Fortune 500 clients report faster crisis resolution and stronger team cohesion through trauma-informed leadership methodologies. For organizations seeking revolutionary approaches that deliver quantifiable results, visit houseoflonewolf.com. That's houseoflonewolf.com, where your childhood battles become powerful tools for success in the boardroom. Now let's continue with our show. The human brain, according to many studies, has about 86 billion neurons and trillions of pathways. It is a marvel of resilience, if you ask me, because most leaders cultivate these pathways in a nurturing environment. But those who have faced adverse childhood experience demonstrate a unique strength. They construct their neural highways against the odds, a testament to their resilience and the power of the human spirit. You see, at the tender age of 17, my father found himself at a significant crossroad in Freetown, Sierra Leone. He was considered as a gifted football prodigy. He was courted by some of the nation's most prestigious clubs, from the Old Edwardians to the Eastern Lions to the Sierra Fisheries, each offering a tantalizing glimpse of a future filled with fame and excitement. Yet, he grappled with an agonizing decision. Should he chase the exhilarating thrill of the game he loved, uphold the deep familiar bonds that shape his identity? My grandfather, a steadfast Muhaddin devoted to the Maliki tradition, viewed football through a vastly different lens. To him, the spirited game was nothing more than a frivolous pastime, a potential distraction from the rigorous demands of academic excellence and the profound commitments of faith. The clash of ambitions echoed in my father's heart, a reminder of the weight of legacy and expectation in a world pulsing with opportunity. My father lived a resolute double life for years. His cleats and training gears was securely stashed at the homie's crib. You know what I mean? It was a deliberate choice to protect his passion. The thrill of the game invigorated him, and he thrived on that excitement despite the constant weight of secrecy. Each triumphant moment on the field was a testament to his skill and determination. Yet it came with an undeniable tension, the looming possibility of being discovered. But he embraced every victory, knowing each was hard won in the face of potential exposure. This was not merely emotional conflict, but a fundamental biological rewiring. Every moment of divided loyalty, every decision to choose between authentic expression and family acceptance was actively reshaping his neural architecture. The pathways being formed in his brain were not just about football versus family, they were about survival versus authenticity. When he ultimately decided to pursue football, my grandfather's reaction was immediate and severe. He was banished from the family home. No one was allowed to maintain any contact. It was heart-wrenching to see a promising athlete cut from family support, facing the challenges of professional sports on his own while dealing with a deep sense of rejection. This story goes beyond typical generational clash. It highlights how one's early experiences, especially those filled with stress or challenges, can shape their brain connections. These connections significantly influence how leaders make decisions even many years later. Understanding this can validate the experiences of leaders with challenging backgrounds and help them feel understood in their decision-making processes. The executive in the corner office who may be deliberating over a significant acquisition or expressing reservations about their team's trustworthiness is likely reflecting more profound experiences. This hesitation can often arise from the complexities of past situations where trust involved vulnerability and visibility brought the potential for rejection. Let's definitively examine the critical changes in the brain when survival becomes the primary focus. Early adverse experiences significantly influence the development and functionality of the prefrontal cortex, an essential region responsible for strategic thinking, evaluating consequences, and regulating emotions. Research from the Harvard Center on the Developing Child unequivocally demonstrate that toxic stress experienced during childhood can reduce both the volume and activity of this vital area by as much as 20%. Such a reduction severely undermines an individual's capacity for sound decision making and emotional management, leading to various behavioral challenges in adulthood. Simultaneously, the amygdala, the brain's threat detection system, becomes hyperactive in these situations. If one definitively examined the critical changes in the brain when survival becomes the primary focus, early adverse experiences significantly influence the development and functionality of the prefrontal cortex, an essential region responsible for strategic thinking, evaluating consequences, and regulating emotions. Research from the Harvard Center on the Developing Child demonstrate that toxic stress experienced during childhood can reduce both the volume and activity of this vital area by as much as 20%. Such a reduction severely undermines an individual's capacity for sound decision making and emotional management, leading to various behavioral challenges in adulthood. Simultaneously, the amygdala, the brain's threat detection system, becomes hyperactive in this situation. This heightened state of alertness generates an exaggerated perception of danger, fostering a persistent cycle of anxiety and defensiveness. The stark imbalance between an overactive amygdala, a compromised prefrontal cortex create a neurological environment where survival instincts dominate, effectively overshadowing rational thought. This makes it increasingly difficult for individuals to navigate complex social dynamics and manage their own emotional responses healthily. For C-suite leaders, it is essential to understand that the brain naturally favors a protective stance over innovative thinking under pressure or uncertainty. This reaction is rooted in neurobiology and it's not a weakness, it is a fundamental aspect of human operations. Consider the Fortune 500 CFO who experienced financial insecurity during their upbringing. As a result, when confronted with investment decisions that carry notable risk, it's understandable that earlier life experiences may influence their approach, potentially leading to increased caution because this instinctive response might not necessarily reflect the actual data available. By acknowledging the impact on these formative experiences, individuals can then strive for a more measured decision making process that harmonize their past insight with the current financial context. I want you to imagine a CEO who grew up in the unpredictable emotional environments. There are many research that suggests that such experience can lead to neural power. Imagine a CEO who grew up in an unpredictable emotional environment. According to research, it suggests that such experiences can lead to neural patterns that prioritize awareness of emotional dynamics over purely strategic these leaders may find themselves attuned to the emotional currents during board meetings, which, while insightful, can sometimes shift focus away from the business agenda itself. The insights become especially valuable when one considers decision-making speed. Research from Leadership Institute actually indicates that executives facing unprocessed trauma may take on average 40% longer to make critical decisions in high-pressure situations. This isn't simply indecisiveness. Instead, it is a response from their neural system that triggers additional threat assessment processes before taking action. Understanding this can help one create supportive environments that enable faster decision making and better outcomes. You dig? For leaders who have navigated challenging childhood experiences, well, their brain development may have been shaped under circumstances emphasizing vigilance and quick assessment of their surroundings. While this contrasts with environment that encourage safety and exploration, it brings forth valuable skills in pattern recognition and rapid threat evaluation. These traits can be viewed not as limitation, but as unique adaptations that, when properly understood and channeled, can enhance leadership effectiveness and foster resilience. The executive who identifies subtle shifts in team dynamics ahead of others is demonstrating valuable sensitivity and awareness, an advanced ability developed through experience for sure. Similarly, the leader who anticipates potential project challenges before they arise showcases a proactive approach, utilizing predictive risk assessment skills that can benefit the whole team. These strengths contribute to a healthier, more successful work environment. You dig? So we have to look at what the rewiring the command center will look like, because the neural architecture formed in early life is resilient and is adaptable. Neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to create new connections, empowers leaders to harness significant opportunities for transformation and growth. Neural pathways can be redirected from mere survival mechanism to strategic advantages that, through deliberate intervention, tackle biology and behavior. This transformative potential, driven by neuroplasticity, offers leaders a powerful opportunity to break free from their past and fully unlock their potential. The process begins with a crucial recognition. Leaders must understand that their instinctive responses to pressure are not indicative of character flaws, but instead rooted in neurological patterns. By acknowledging this truth, leaders can dispel shame and pave the way for effective strategic interventions. This understanding is essential for unlocking their full potential in high pressure situations. This transformation delivers measurable and impactful results. Organizations that adopt trauma-informed leadership approaches designed to understand and address the effect of trauma on leadership behavior and decision-making will definitely achieve several things. First, decision cycles will accelerate approximately 30% during high-pressure situations. Leaders who grasp their neural triggers can effectively differentiate between genuine risk and traumatic echoes, enabling quicker and more informed choices. Second, team will experience up to 25% improvement in psychological safety measures. Leaders who confront and manage their neural patterns will create thriving environment for innovation where risk is seen as an opportunity rather than a threat. Third, significant advancement in strategic thinking. That capacity will definitely emerge because the prefrontal cortex operates without constant interference from the amygdala activity. Cognitive resources will be freed up for higher order planning and innovative solutions, which will then drive organizations towards unparalleled success. An executive who has faced childhood adversity often enters the boardroom not at a disadvantage, but equipped with unique perspectives and resilience. When properly understood and harnessed, these experiences can enhance their leadership capabilities in ways that they may be less accessible to others. Their journey is not merely a personal victory, but a beacon of inspiration and empowerment for those around them. This approach is not simply healing from trauma. It involves transforming those experiences into valuable assets. It's about adapting to triggers and using them as opportunities for strategic development. Rather than seeking to escape the past, the focus is on leveraging every lesson learned to foster exceptional leadership potential. This invites leaders to embrace their history, utilize them as a foundation for reaching newer heights in their leadership endeavors. You dig? This is the essence of I Don't Subscribe, a philosophy that invites people to reconsider the impact of adversity on their identities. Rather than allowing challenges to define them, it encourages a proactive response, suggesting that experience that may have threatened to diminish one can ultimately serve to highlight their unique strength and resilience. You dig? So if you like what you heard so far in this show, before we close, I want to just remind you one more time to subscribe, to like, to share. You dig? I want to say thank you to my sponsor, House of Lone Wolf, for the support, for making these conversations possible. And I want you to remember, man, every opportunity outweighs the problem, especially when it's viewed through a different lens. Conventional wisdom will lead people to believe that scars represent brokenness, when in fact, these scars highlight immense potential. Dangerous to mediocrity, challenging the status quo, and defying limitations. Until next time, I'm Ibrahim Daffae. I am confidently questioning what society deems to be normal, and I don't subscribe because niggas be lying, and all that makes sense, and all that makes the difference. You dig? I'm out.